Scorpio. Welcome to your work, career, vocation read. Timeless, but doing this for October and November 2021. I'm your reader. Mark, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace, from a professional witch, the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my Scorps. Let's get up in this gig, shall we? Work, career, vocation, 3 levels of power in terms of life purpose. There is a link in the description box by Caroline Myss, M-Y-S-S, but she's a PhD, talking about the 3 levels of power, sort of an archetypal way of looking at things. You can look at many different areas of your life in the 3 levels of power. We're doing your life purpose as your work, your career, and your vocation, to bring them into alignment, to find where the leverage is. Sometimes you balance one, the other 2 balance out, and certainly as a result of that, I do recommend checking your other signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, if you can, if you have the info, because sometimes your Sun sign will get about work, but your Moon sign will get about career, and maybe your Venus sign, your vocation, right? So think of them as 3 different energetic entities, all having to do with you. So it's a 12-card spread. Let's get them on the table. It's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I've been doing these work, career, vocation spreads for clients for decades, since I learned about the 3 levels of power. I've been teaching about it for a long time too. You know, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if you want to book me for a private reading, easy enough to do. There's a video in the description box I made booking a reading with Mal about what goes on before, during, and after for both myself and the client. Guess that's about it. Let's just do this. I'm tired of explaining, except to say that all the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box should you want to look at them a little bit deeper, as well as a lot of other cool stuff. I am a Virgo. I give good description box, and if you're one of those Scorpios that likes to go deep, I'm your witch. Otherwise, both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace about your life purpose and 3 levels of power. Please take a nice deep breath. Had a very mystical night last night. Well, I should say early morning. 1 to 3 a.m. around here at the Drawing the Circle home office. Gets a little mystical. So I'm going to call upon our collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose through work, career, vocation, and the higher selves of all involved. 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please, what is the dominant 8th chakra archetypes using the Caroline Myss archetype deck for their work, their career, and their vocation at the time that they are viewing this? Let's start with their work, their literal level of power, the physical world. Let's look at their personal level of power, the mental, emotional, spiritual stuff in their career and in their vocation, their spiritual calling, their visionary intuition at the time of their watching this. These are in the title. Let's see how brave you are. Lovely. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. I mean, they sound lovely, but as wonderful as an archetype sounds, as toxic as it is in its shadow. Shadow attribute, light attribute. This is what you're learning in this case from your work. You've got the healer, the servant, and the guide. The light attribute is what you're shooting for in terms of alchemy, shadow work. Really the lessons you are learning here, the soul powers you are developing. You've got the healer family. The healer archetype in the healing family of archetypes. There are 9 different groupings or families. You've got the servant, which is also the healing family of archetypes. And you've got the guide, which is the divine family of archetypes. So 2 healing and a divine. I like this. And chances are, if you're watching my channel in particular, you're really trying to move towards something that's more holistic. That word means a lot more now than it did when it was first kind of brought to the public in the 70s. Now it's all about product, arnica cream and Bach flower remedy and kale, apparently. But to bring all this together, right? You have the depth to bring these into alignment. But let me read what's on the actual cardboard. In your work, the shadow attribute of the healer, taking advantage of those who need help. Nightmare. See what I mean? As beautiful as the healer sounds, the shadow's just horrible. Failing to care for oneself, which every healer has to go through that, right? Particularly become self-sacrificing, right? And you end up bitter, right? You have to take care of your own instrument, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, vibrationally. You know what I'm talking about, energetically. The light attribute you're shooting for here, passion to serve others. Keep in mind you also have the servant archetype here. Passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Again, that holistic model, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, the four lower bodies in homeostasis. Ability to help transform pain into healing, and you can do that by being a good listener, by the way. So it's not all about hanging a shingle. It's not all about Reiki, Shmakey, eggs, and bacon. I live on Long Island where there are more Reiki masters and you could shake a crystal wand at. Let's look at your career here. Now, I'm a Virgo. Virgos are known as the servants of the zodiac, but, you know, we're masters at it, particularly once we figure out that and whom we really serve. The shadow attribute, using a lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. I'll be honest with you, I'm self-employed. There's lots of things I would love to do, but during the limitations of this past year or so at the time of this recording, I've definitely not been able to move forward, and I would love to go to the Fire Island Pines for a weekend. Yeah, that too, right? But of course, if the finances aren't pouring in, if you're paying your bills, luxuries and moving forward with your life may seem like a luxury. So I can relate to that. But the light attribute, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. I mean, you pair that with the healer. I'm talking to a sensitive Scorpio here. You may not show it. You may have quite a bit of psychic armor, as most most Scorpios do. Hades, Pluto, the helmet of invisibility. We have no idea what's going on in there. But with the guide here, this is so powerful in your vocation, because this isn't just about you serving other people. This is about you following your guidance. The shadow attribute places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. I've seen it. I have the guide archetype in my life pretty regularly. I wouldn't call it lifelong, but I would certainly call it, you can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Mine comes and goes in seasons. But following spiritual guidance is pretty much everything to me. In other words, I bow to no one down here. I mean, I obey the laws of the land. I'm not stupid. I'm a Virgo. I was raised by a lawyer and a teacher, right? But as far as the guidance out here, I'll listen. I'll take it in. But there's only one source I serve in that way, right? So I don't put a high price, $100 an hour for a reading, but I've been doing it my whole life. So, you know, makes people pay attention when you do that. But, you know, financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight, no bueno. That's lead. That's going to block out the download, if you will, from the energy moving through. But the light attribute represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself, a real 8th chakra thing. So you could see yourself as the healer, servant, guide, or the guide, servant, healer. You can read them either way. You find what works for you, right? Let's keep going. That's about as much as we're going to talk about those three, except in context. Now we're doing Daughters of the Moon Tarot, like I said. Think of your work, career, and vocation as 3 siblings all making up your life purpose. 3 different energetic entities, but that which are interrelated. Now we're looking at the crown, the third eye, the throat, and the heart. Your spiritual power, your mental power, your willpower, power of choice and decision, and your emotional power. Your yin, the world behind your eyes. Breathe. Where Scorpios dwell, as I call upon. Oh, there's the shift. I call upon my goddesses of water, the sign of Scorpio. And the powers of the West. Please, 3 cards from the Daughters of the Moon. What's going on inside, yin side of the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, and vocation. In their work, they've got the Healer in the 8th. And Isis, the High Priestess, in the Heart, Throat, Third Eye Crown. You are being used as a channel of the divine, whether you are aware of it or not. If you're following me on my channel and elsewhere, you're aware of this. But, alright, I haven't said this in a while. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little, listen much, right? Listen maybe this way, but definitely this way. Your healing is part of this. Because what does a priest or a priestess do? They're a channel for the divine to work through, right? But there might be some initiation going on there as well. In other words, you pay the price in terms of your own healing, because the more you heal, the clearer of a channel you are. Really nice. Major Arcana card, let's see. My goddesses. I knew that felt differently as soon as I tuned in. What's going on here for the Scorpio in their career? Servant in the 8th. What's going on for them? Heart, throat, third eye crown. I will wait for the right... Is that the right card? That's the right card. They will get it in my hand. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say the word on the card in a minute, but it's the 8 of Flames, the 8 of Wands. Oh, messages. The card is called Burnout, but it may not mean burnout so much like you've put out more than you take in. Although for a servant archetype, that is likely. It is something that we do. We serve, leave ourselves out of the equation. And of course, then we don't have the sustenance, let alone the financial means usually, to further ourselves move forward with our own lives. So watch out for the excuses. So if that's there, burnout, then you know you need to serve yourself, particularly heart, throat, third eye crown. You'll figure that out for yourself. Only you can know what your own creative intuition, second level of power, is going to tell you about that, considering you seem to be such an aligned healer. But I'm also going to say, wildfire, that's what we're looking at here in this card, right? I hate the idea of a forest fire, but it does certainly give that image of things moving quickly. This could just as easily be creative energy inside of you, throat chakra dynamic, right? You want it, you're moving forward, you're just consuming the earth element right now, turning it into fire, moving things forward in service. It can certainly be a balance of both forms of burnout though, right? Because even after a forest has burned down, the soil is still fertile and the seeds are in the ground. It will come back, hopefully, unless someone sows salt in it. Let's look at the guide here. My goddesses, please. They've got the guide in their 8th chakra. This feels pretty key. What's going on? Heart, throat, third eye crown, and their vocation. Interesting. The Virgo card. Now, when it's an internal card, it can certainly refer to your own personal astrology, but rarely is it about somebody in the outside world. Heart, throat, third eye crown. If we're talking the Virgo, I am a Virgo. I've lectured on the subject about Virgo and being one. Hours and hours I could do. But let's look at 6th house dynamic, right? Virgo is in the 6th house, mutable earth, the maiden of pentacles here, which would be the Knight of Pentacles, the Virgo card in traditional tarot. We are looking at occupation and health, because those two things are extremely joined together. Your health is determined by what you occupy yourself with. I know, we think of occupation in terms of what we do for a living, and by the way, Virgo is the servant of the zodiac. So I would call that a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a total double whammy, but it's awfully close. With this guidance that you are getting in your 8th chakra, I would occupy yourself with it. Now, not to the exclusion of health and balance. Obviously, you've got this mystical thing going on in your work with the High Priestess, with the healer archetype there. Your passion to serve is probably on point, or you're exhausted. Passion for service can lead to burnout if you're not healing yourself as well, a failure to take care of yourself. So there is guidance coming through here, and I feel the connection to this guide archetype and that Isis High Priestess very, very strongly. But you have to bring yourself into balance, physical balance. Look at your health. Look at your health from a third eye point of view. Look at the guidance that maybe your own cell tissue is giving you, or maybe it really is the divine in life and in yourself guiding you to really self-care. Look, Virgos, yeah, I get it. We're really, really up for serving unless we are so burnt out. And then it's not that, screw you, although we can get there, we can get critical. But it's like, I want to, but I can't, and we martyr. I do, and I do, and I do for you people, right? That sort of thing. So heart, throat, third eye, crown. I'm going to really go with the third eye on this, ruled by Mercury, Virgo and Gemini. So to really evaluate, what am I occupied with? Am I occupied with my guidance? Now, again, there's lots of guidance coming from the outside, right? Synchronicities and teachers and videos, and I mean, please, what's available on the planet now through your cell phone? People thousands of years ago had to like leave their home, shave their head, change their name, move to another country, right? Go into a monastery, and now it's like on your phone. Chakras, right? Just Google chakras. Google chakra. Sounds like a website. This is a very, very powerful time for you. Obviously, the divine is involved. It's about service. But it's really about you serving in terms of your vocation to fuel the other two levels of power. That's what I'm getting. It's really cool. Let's look at the lower three chakra dynamic, Mythic Tarot. Lower three chakras are the physical part of this, and that's why I know I'm talking to a Scorpio. Money, as well as X and power. Root chakra is your tribal dynamics, and I've been saying this because I think it's a wonderful exercise. Write on your phone, or keep a notebook, whatever, for a week, and write down all the different tribes you discover yourself already in. Well, there's the human one, but then there's racial, there's political, there's your family tribe, right? Your circle of friends, right? If you're in an industry, right? If you're an artist, right? Archetypes are even tribal in that way. You realize how much your root chakra has to do with you manifesting things on planet Earth. Second chakra is one-on-one, umbilical dynamic, relational dynamic, including your relationship to money, because money is a singular energy field that you have a relationship with. And then your solar plexus is your relationship to yourself, your honor code, your self-esteem, your survival intuition. So let's see what the gods have to say. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon my gods of water, the sign of Scorpio, and the powers of the West, please. 3 cards in clarity from the Mythic Tarot for the Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. 3 cards, clarify what's going on from the outside looking in, the inside looking out. Maybe some of that, maybe all of that. For this Scorpio with the healer archetype, with the high priestess on the inner. What's on the outer in terms of their work? Oh, wow, the Tower. Poseidon, one of my 2 gods for the sign of Scorpio. I have Neptune in Scorpio, as many Generation X's do. That's why it was so much fun and so dark. Look, this is definitely a radical shift in terms of your physical work. It is major arcana, though we think of the Tower as being one single lightning bolt. The ramifications of it can take a while to move through, and do remember that after the Tower comes the star, right? So this is a necessary shift. This can be a bolt of divine intervention, and my goodness, why wouldn't it be? With the healer archetype in the 8th chakra, the high priestess working its way down through you and hitting your physical world. With Poseidon, the earth shaker. The Tower has been struck by light. Light is truth. So lightning is truthening. This could be in any way, shape, or form, right? This could be a physical issue. It's lower 3 chakras. It could be a financial issue. It's a general read, but we're not done. Let's just leave that there for the moment. We will come back to that. Plus, we've got the healing mantra cards, which usually sew it all up, so to speak. In their career, my gods, that was shocking, but not really. Not for Scorpio. They are transformers. They're certainly more than meets the eye. So my gods, please, they've got the servant archetype in their career with burnout. What's going on there from the outside looking in? All right, 3 of Wands. I like that. There is a loyalty. There is a priority. There is a sense of waiting here. And, you know, this is definitely the decision or the choice of the 2 of Wands has you now made it to the place where perhaps there is a little wait time. You know, looking out over the horizon, waiting for your ships to come in, but waiting loyally. I always get with this card, this king offering a crown for the retrieval of the golden fleece. Jason and the Argonauts here in the suit of wands in the Mythic Tarot. And as I tune to this, it's like, you're a loyal servant. Are you burned out, though? Are you burned out and waiting for something better? Can you turn this loyalty towards yourself? Wonderful book called In the Meantime by Iyanla Vanzant. Yeah, that Iyanla. Iyanla fixed my life, Iyanla. And she talks about our loyalty structure. She said we're all taught work, then friends and family, then self, then God, right? It doesn't work. We burn out. God first, higher power, whatever you want to call it, spirituality first, then you, then friends and family, then work. That's what I do every morning. I wake up. I start my day with prayer and coffee, darling, every single day. Then I, you know, coffee is part of the self-care, but let's scoop the kitty litter. Let's get things together here in the house. Get me ready. Check in with people, you know, check in here, check in there, and then I start my day recording or taking clients, all that kind of stuff. What is your loyalty structure here? Are you in it? In your career, are you, is taking care of you part of that? That seems to be a theme here. And that Tower card could be a wake-up call. You're gonna have to rebuild, but out of the rubble of the fallen tower comes something certainly more steady, because the foundation was usually faulty. Let's look at this guide. My gods, really hot read here. For the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, please, in their vocation, really their mystical power. They are a mystical sign. What's going on? The guide in the 8th chakra, the Virgo, heart, throat, third eye, crown. What's going on? And the Emperor, literally Zeus holding the very lightning bolt that strikes down the tower. I think that this is about you being not just the king, the emperor. The king is the zodiacal, well, the tarot combination of all the kings in the tarot. Swords, wands, cups, and pentacles here. Zeus can change things in a moment's notice, the blink of an eye. That kind of power. Divine masculine energy here. This is where your leverage is. There is no question of the 3. This is really about your guidance, right? If you are burned out, if that is really you, a loyal, burned out servant there, then this is where your leverage is. Need to take care of yourself in this, to follow the guidance from the divine in life and in itself, which means even trees can give you guidance if you look at the unified field of the divine. A very mystical thing going on here for you. And whatever has shooken you up, whatever shook you up, or will, in your physical world there with that tower, I'm going to say you had a hand in it. Being a channel of the divine, it would make sense, this guidance coming through you and zapping your physical world. Well, and remember, the Tower card is not always a destruction of a thing, right? I had the Destroyer. Who got that? Oh, the Libra reading. They got the Destroyer archetype there. It's like, well, you want to destroy a cancer cell, don't you? Right? So destruction is part of it. And certainly it can also be a card of enlightenment when I teach tarot. And I'm going to be teaching tarot again on Facebook, on my Drawing the Circle Productions Facebook page. I'll be doing that eventually. Right now I'm focusing on witchcraft and Path of True Love. But to really, really get that the power that we really, really have in our lives here is tuning ourselves to that guidance, being loyal to it, And knowing that when the tower comes, if someone their whole life believes something that is untrue because it's been passed on, part of conditioning, that could be anything. I usually say they don't believe in spirits or ghosts, and then one day they see one, 40 years of belief system gone in a second. It is something that fast, but that is an enlightenment and entruthment, right? So as much as we study, as much as we learn, as much as we serve, there's always going to be another tower moment because there's always a higher truth. Great fun. Because that's what moves us forward in expansion, right? All right, last 3 cards down, the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. Not reading from the bookie book on this, but let's see what the Ascended Masters have to say. Please breathe. All right, to charge it, to help them heal, I call upon the Ascended Masters of Life, Purpose Through Work, Career, and Vocation, please. 3 cards, one at a time, the Perfect Healing Mantra. Plural, mantras. For the Scorpio Collective Sun, Moon, Rising Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading for their work, career, vocation. They've got the Healer in their work, High Priestess on the inner, Tower on the outer. Please, what is the Perfect Healing Mantra to help them heal with all of that? Allowing appreciation. This is very Abraham Hicks, this card. The value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. Now, it's a decent mantra, and we know that we should appreciate more, but it has to be authentic. I suggest start small. I like coffee, I like tea, I like the boys, and the boys like me. Get yourself into that mode, because the value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. Means that in every given moment, you have everything that you need physically around you, but we don't believe that, right? We do not see it that way until we do. And appreciation allows you to fly at a slightly higher altitude, incrementally getting higher, where you see a larger picture. This is for your healing. To say thank you for the hardships in your life, perhaps the destructions in your life, does sort of guarantee eventually you will see a gift in it. I mean, if you think about it, it's not an around and run, but it's an acknowledgement on some level that there's got to be something that you're getting out of this, and I think you kind of know what this is. But this is such a, I'm not usually considered a Scorpio card, the High Priestess, but that soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little, listen much, I think is very much about that. And there's a lot of guidance coming to you that appreciate the guidance. Now, there are 3 different levels of power and intuition. Survival intuition, creative intuition, visionary intuition. I feel like this is really saying, physically it might be very hard, except fight or flight. Pay attention to that. Listen to your lower chakras for sure, because things are changing instantly kind of fast, it feels, for you in your work. But the guidance is there. Can you appreciate the guidance that you are getting, and maybe not being such a, you're a healer here. It's going to be about your own healing your relationship and appreciating the guidance that you get. I could talk about this stuff forever. In your career, the Servant, Burnout on the inner, 3 of Wands on the outer. Those are both fire cards there, by the way. Flames and Wands. Breathe. Ascended Masters, Servant in the 8th, Burnout, and 3 of Wands. What's their perfect healing mantra? Balancing the brain. I can be and do all at once. I'm really going to say that this is about left brain, right brain hemisphere, masculine, feminine dynamic, yin and yang, that there's a thing about being in the present moment, mindfulness, being, and then from that place, doing. And it's not, well, I'm going to meditate for an hour and then I'm going to clean the house. Yeah, that's a practice. That's the washing machine, the monks once told me, right? And you're going to be, then do, then be, then do. But balancing the brain is about more maintaining the stability of an internal balance of understanding that intellect and intuition are also a thing in balance. That you can be here now in the present moment. It's a good mantra. I can be and do all at once, but I have to check in with being and And in that moment, I'll be shown what to do, particularly with the guidance coming through to you. I hope that makes sense. A little but it's mystical. It might make sense later. Save this read for later. Balancing the brain. I like that though. Let's see. All right, my Ascended Masters. This is where their leverage is. I can feel it in my water. The guide archetype in their 8th, Virgo on the inner, Emperor on the outer in their vocation. What's going on here? I'll take that one. Rarely take kickers, but that one jumped over my arm. Embodying my soul. I have a right to be excited. Embodying your soul in your vocation. You have the right to be excited about your mystical evolution, which means you don't quite understand it, but you know something's going on. In terms of the guidance and the grace that you're getting, if you're I'm going to put this all together in the blessing like I always do, but I want you to think about that. You may have more power in your vocation than you realize with that Emperor card. Yes, this could be someone external to you. Masculine energy doesn't mean they're necessarily a male embodiment or embodied as a male. But I feel like this is you. This is about you being the commander, the controller, the ruler, but of your vocation. And remember, Zeus sits at the top of Mount Olympus and sees all. Well, I guess maybe not the top of the Himalayas, it's obviously higher, but let's not confuse mythology with geology. This is definitely a power thing here. And this is about service. But like being and doing all at once, I get it. All right, so being and doing it all at once. Well, I have all these people I have to serve. How do I serve me? Well, balance the brain. You have a right to be excited about the guidance that's coming in for you and something it could make sense that you're keeping quiet about, but that is changing your life pretty instantly. That can be anything from a mystical vision, it could be that real kind of clairvoyant guidance, it could even be what some would call the paranormal. But honey, when you've been a professional witch for as long as I have, you realize that supernatural and paranormal is subjective, right? It depends on who you're talking to. I've had a lot of crazy shit come across my cell phone, laptop, and through my own ears over the past, oh my God, since the 90s. So I really like this here. If you put these 3 mantras together, what you're doing, you're allowing appreciation, balancing the brain, and embodying your soul, but you reverse it and do the mantras. I have a right to be excited. I can be and do all at once, and the value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it, even if you don't have everything that you want yet, right? Start with the toilet, because I really appreciate this toilet flushing. Being in the present moment and doing that process of appreciation. I will recommend Rampage of Appreciation, Abraham Hicks. It's one of their exercises, games, whatever they want to call it, and easy to find on YouTube. And you have a right to be excited, and I feel that carries its way all the way through, particularly with that guide with Zeus in the vocation coming down through the High Priestess and hitting something like lightning. I feel like that is an exciting thing. It also does change this. I'm not saying the burnout can't be in there, the type you're thinking of burnout, but that passion, that moving forward to serve with a delight in serving others with a loving heart. Let me put this all together for you, shall I? Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, that in their work they really embrace their passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit with their ability to help transform pain into healing with the High Priestess inside of them, really channeling it through and maybe not making a big deal out of it. Again, soft divine, light of touch. speak ye little, listen much, because there is a Tower card here. There is a Tower moment at work in their work life in some way, shape, or form, and for them to tune themselves to the value of their life, allowing appreciation. That's a thing. Can you allow yourself to appreciate when a Tower moment comes, the value of their life increasing every time they appreciate everything in it in their work life? Because in their career, may they find delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, with the great passion, and perhaps dealing with the burnout if they're not serving themselves so much, keeping themselves in balance there, but with a sense of loyalty, a sense of willing to wait, to take the journey. The decision's been made, the choice has been made. It's now just playing the game, seeing it through as they balance the brain, getting that they can be and do all at once, so that in their vocation, which does really feel like their leverage, they can really understand the guidance representing the nature of the divine in life and in themselves, meaning the nature cannot be taken out of it. It is the nature of the thing, with that Virgo energy inside of them. Occupation, healing, service, mutable earth, Knight of Pentacles vibe there, that service to themselves and to this guidance, either making them or about an emperor, giving them some real powerful leverage here. The balance of all the kings in the tarot amalgamated as Zeus, the actual throwing of the lightning that appears to strike down the tower to its foundation, with their mantra of embodying the soul, because they have a right to be excited about their vocation. They have a right to balance the brain, and they certainly have a right to allow themselves to appreciate what everything in alignment going on, bringing themselves into alignment, so that as they heal and serve, we are all for the better through the unity of fifth dimensional unity consciousness, that we may all be better as a result, and that they may be the healer, servant, guide, and the guide, servant, healer they need to be for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So would it be. And so it is. That was did 4. You got an extra knock in there, but now I think you have 7. So did you like the reading? Like it? You want more? Subscribe. You want to read my book? Link in the description box. Might be helpful. I wrote that book as a result of the destruction of my old career. Now I'm in a new one. I'm a much happier person. And certainly if you want to book a reading with me, booking a reading with Mal, watch the video. It's a fun video. I enjoyed making it. Otherwise, my beloved Scorps, my fixed water signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, wishing you the very best and the very blessed in your work, career, and vocation. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.